Manager of Opposition Business.
Thanks very much, Speaker. My question is to the Environment Minister. Earlier in question today, the Environment Minister said the department assessed that the Foundation's proposal. When did the department receive the Foundation's proposal? Was it before or after they were offered $500 million?
The Minister for the Environment and Energy has the call.
Mr Speaker, the member for Watson wasn't listening very carefully, because I said on the 29th of May the Foundation finalised their proposal. Now, Mr Speaker, what is very clear is that when we met firstly on the 9th of April with the Foundation to solicit to elicit whether they were interested in
members on my left,
in partnering with
members on my left.
When we met with the Foundation, well, I would have thought the member for Watson would welcome, like the member for Sydney, would welcome $500 million into the reef to underpin regional jobs. That's the key here, Mr Speaker. Now, Mr Speaker, the fact is there was an extensive process of my department working together with the Foundation, and as I made it very clear, when I wrote to the Foundation Chair, I made it clear that the formal offer of any Australian government funds is dependent on negotiating and executing a new grant agreement. We received their final proposal on the 29th of May, and on the 20th of June, under Section 71 of the Public Performance and Accountability Act, I approved the grant to the Foundation. Now, having considered a detailed assessment of the application by my department, which recommended to me, and I quote, that this would meet the government's policy objective to protect and manage the Great Barrier Reef, and I quote, would represent value for money and a proper use of Commonwealth resources, and I quote, would be consistent with the provisions of the Governance and Accountability Act. Now, Mr Speaker, we have succeeded in putting a record amount of funding into the Barrier Reef where Labor failed, Mr Speaker, where Labor failed. Money into saving the reef and advancing its health, Mr Speaker. Tackling the crown of thorns starfish. Investing in the science, Mr Speaker. Partnering with farmers to prevent sediment, nitrogen and pesticide runoff. Mr Speaker, what did Australia's chief scientist say when we announced this $500 million? He said it's a great day for the reef and it's a great day for science, Mr Speaker. What did the head of the tourism operators in that part of Queensland say, Mr Speaker? He said it underpins regional jobs in Queensland, Mr Speaker. And, Mr Speaker, what did the chair of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority say when we announced the $500 million? He said this is a game changer, Mr Speaker. Now, I want to make it clear. There is a 100-page document between the government and the Foundation, all of which is public.
The Minister's time has concluded.